Hello, and welcome to the Halcyon Top 5 list. So I'm going to count down my top 5 favourite thingy-bobs within a type of subject or topic. And on this episode, I'm going to be looking at people that raise the bar when it comes to badassery to all new levels of badassitude. Yes, that is a word. However, I think it's important to set ground rules for this because I do want comments and suggestions in the comment section of your chip picks for the top 5 badasses. So here are the rules for picking badasses when it comes to this list. My picks are based on their biggest badass moments, so the moment that best epitomizes how much of a badass they are, and how quantifiably badass they are in the number of incidents and the way they carry themselves on the most consistent basis rather than just one-off moments. And finally, in the games in which they appear, what elements of their character make you want to pick them to live vicariously through them as your own personal badass. And I will mention some special mentions of people that didn't quite make the list for one reason or another, 3 in particular: Jack from Mass Effect, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and Batman from the eponymous Batman Arkham games. The reason why they've missed out on the list is because their most prominent badass moments actually appear in extended lore or cartoons or other media, not in the games themselves. Could perfectly justify putting them on this list, but quite frankly, you know, their presence is more widely felt in cartoons, comics, and movies. So with that, here we go. Here's my top 5 favourite badasses in all of gaming. Coming in at number 5 is Galen Merrick, or aka Starkiller from the Force Unleashed series. While perhaps not the first person that comes to mind when thinking of badasses, anyone that can pull Star Destroyers out of orbit, go one-on-one with multiple Rancors, make Darth Vader and the Emperor his bitch, and in the midst of his story still find time to pull one of the hottest blonde Empire pilots there is, then that, my friend, is a badass. Starkiller is a character who starts off evil in his actions, but good in his intentions, and throughout the course of his story becomes more and more powerful to the point of being an equal to the Emperor himself, something that not even Luke Skywalker achieved in his character arc. In canon anyways. Add to this in-game, his moveset is absolutely brutal and devastating, with every single enemy reduced to a mere plaything when you've maxed your character. And while the quick time events do annoy, they do also serve to show off in all their glory how immense his accomplishments are, and how powerful he is, such as defeating a town-sized Gorog monster, escaping an Imperial-controlled base despite having been starved of food, water and sleep for 13 days, and then going on to capture and imprison his former master Darth Vader in his original and clone states. His most badass moment? Well, that'd have to be making the Emperor bitch on his knees, having whooped his candy ass up and down Death Star, which was pure magic when you played it. Starkiller is a force to be reckoned with. Get it? Force? On to number 4.
Get something to hold him.
Yes, General.
I let you live. You tell me I'm a clone, but I chose to spare you. Oh, maybe Coda's right. Maybe this is all a trick, a way to get me so confused that I'd forget who I really am and become your slave again. But either way, I let you live. I've finally broken your hold over me.
Coming in at number 4 is John 117, aka the Master Chief. John 117 was a small boy who was kidnapped and via cybernetic enhancement and genetic tampering was transformed into a super soldier in the Spartan program to defend Earth and the human race from extraterrestrial threats. Yes, that is indeed pretty grim. However, this meant that from then on in, anyone who dared with humanity had the Chief to answer to. The Chief speaks slowly, methodically, and with a grizzled voice that oozes cool. Badass. He is a master of every weapon he comes across and often utilizes much more limited firepower to overcome and defeat much larger and much more dangerous foes. Badass. He took on an entire Covenant army, a horde of zombie-making parasites called the Flood, and blew up the ring world known as Halo using the core of a ship he crash-landed onto the planet on in the first place. Badass. He has the most awesome armor that Tony Stark didn't build. Badass. And finally, he has an absolute will to win that means that small things like punching into the remains of one of his dearest friends to remove a chip he needs to complete a mission, or hurling himself into space to detonate a bomb within an enemy ship and then fly out again to land on a friendly ship without any means of propulsion or guidance, are mere footnotes on the career of the Chief. His most badass moment was the one that pissed off most gamers, but the line that will always resonate with me: "Sir, finishing this fight." As he has just finished a whole game of kicking ass, taking names, and gearing up for the next, the guy's just hungry for more carnage and destruction. In terms of one person who personifies military badassery, there is absolutely no one who can do so like this military master. Chief. Pun. Okay, moving on to number 3.
Pretty good.
Chief, get inside. Gear up. We're taking this fight to the surface.
Coming in at number 3 is Hanzo Hasashi, or you might know him better as Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat series. Okay, now while Scorpion may not have the kill count of either of the 2 previous entries, neither one of those guys can remove their face and incinerate their foes, and is an undead ninja spectre. Hanzo Hasashi has one of, if not the best backstory in Mortal Kombat, and has one of the most iconic movesets and looks in the whole of the game series, which, in a game where a dude can shoot ice, another dude can shoot electricity, and another can tear your heart out with his bare hands, is saying something. And yes, while the film did him no favours at all, given that he couldn't even beat up Johnny Cage, we do not speak of that film. Instead, let's talk about the only catchphrase of the series: "Get over here!" So badass. His moveset is all about trapping and overwhelming opponents, and he's an undead ninja. What the isn't badass about that? Add to this, he's one of the people in all of media who got their revenge, but we actually see what happens after his retribution is complete, which is pretty cool and unique in its own way. He's defeated virtually every combatant in the universe and is renowned as one of the most skilled fighters in all the realms. Oh, and he has access to a never-ending pool of power in the Netherrealm, where he often drags his opponents for play fights in pools of lava and sightseeing around the columns of unending pain and sadness. That's his home, people. His home! Badass. His greatest ever feat of badassery, beating the ever-living piss out of one of his greatest nemesis in the Lin Kuei ninja, Sub-Zero, and then incinerating the sucker for the sake of it. And this is after he was offered the chance to save his family and clan by sparing his foe, only to say, that noise and removing his mask and burning him alive anyways. And on a gaming level, be honest. If you weren't a Scorpion guy, you were a Sub-Zero guy, meaning a generation of gamers mastered his moves due to how cool he was and due to the fact that he was one of only 2 camps people belonged to. Scorpion has so much in common with the Drifters of 1965. He just wants you to come over to his place and has a move that he likes to use to get that. And on that poor attempt at parallel humour, let's move on to number 2.
The Shirai Ryu are dead. You will suffer as they did.
To hell with your clan.
No, to hell with you!
The Netherrealm.
This is where I was reborn. This is where you will pay.
That is not me.
Just missing out on the number 1 spot is number 2, Kazuya Mishima from the Tekken series. Okay, so the comparisons with Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z are there. I concede that. The slick back hair into spikes, the hatred of his lineage, his pride, and his constant testing of his own offspring. But they have another thing in common too. Killing them is the worst thing you can do, as it only pisses them off, and they always come back stronger. Kazuya Mishima was thrown into a canyon when he was 10, made a deal with the devil to survive, was then thrown into a volcano when he was 25, and yet he's still alive somehow. He has won numerous King of Iron Fist tournaments, defeated his father to claim the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu, and is strong enough and fast enough to punch through solid steel and concrete and evade gunfire. And that's even before you get to the devil gene, which takes his abilities to unreal levels of do not with me. But why does he rank so highly on this list? Well, frankly, because given the level of his competition, consistently shifting and growing in power, the fact that he's kept pace, being only a mere mortal, is testament to his will and how little he cares for the foes he faces, only for what he needs to accomplish to further his goals. Add to this the fact that, as with the previous entry, a generation of gamers were drawn to him due to just how freaking cool and mysterious he was in the first 2 games, and later how much his design stood out even in the Tekken series, which only got cooler when he was a boss level character. And on a personal note, I was always more of a Tekken fan, and given the impact, force, feel and unique look of the Mishima fighting style that Kazuya uses in the game, added to his individual moments in his story of how he was not only a fighting force, but also found time to father a son who is just as powerful as him, is yet another example of how this guy's penchant for being a legit badass is unmatched by anyone else in the series. His biggest moment of badassery? His comeback in Tekken 4 at the beginning, without a doubt. Having been thought to have been killed in the mouth of a volcano by Heihachi Mishima, his father, he destroyed an entire squad of the Tekken Force before threatening his father with his vengeance and that it was nigh. For me, if you ask me if he deserves his spot on the list, I'd say Kazuya. That's some light comedy for you. But Lorne, you platinum stud, I hear you ask. Who can outdo these guys, as well as everyone else in gaming, for the spot of the biggest badass? Well, wonder no more. Let's take a look at number 1. So who's number 1? Whose levels of badassery make everyone else quiver in fear at the mere mention of his name? Well, it's Lu Bu from the Dynasty Warriors series. If you play Dynasty Warriors, you only need to know two things. Number one, I'm picking Guan Yu and you're not allowed to. No, seriously, he's my pick. Now don't be a I want to be Guan Yu. And number two, holy it's Lubu! F***ing hell, run! Run now! In no other game have I come across an individual who I genuinely felt the need to flee from. And this is despite the fact that up to the point of seeing him, I'd massacred hundreds, if not thousands of men, and captains and other generals. Lubu is just the epitome of badass. Every other person in this series might have something special about them, a theme track, a special weapon, or an aspect of their moves. But Lubu has a special everything. Special spear, special horse, a badass theme song. And he was the first I ever really remember emitting the legendary red lightning when he rocked up to up your day. Playing this game on hard mode is a challenge for sure. Running into Lubu while playing that mode will make you instantly regret all the choices in life that brought you up to that point, as he makes it his personal mission to rearrange your face. Oh, and about running away. Well, if you're on foot, Lubu is faster than just about anyone short of the swiftest warriors in the game. And if you're on a horse, he possesses the red hair. That's the fastest horse in the game. He's also one of, if not the most powerful combatant in the game when maxed out. And given he arrives at the second mission of the game, you are absolutely helpless to defeat him on your own. With a partner, you might stand somewhat of a chance, but you really need to grind together. Playing as him is gratifying and fun as hell. And there's perhaps no one whose eyebrows defy logic as much as him. His quips, winning battles with his eyes closed, never ever displaying even a hint of fear, betraying his allies and lords when he is seeking a new battle or simply bored, and being so dangerous they execute him when captured, rather than try to turn him, speaks volumes about the level of respect in the game that he commanded. And as stated, his biggest badass moment is the moment he hits you for the first time in the game, and the cold realization that you done up hits you like an ice bucket challenge gone horribly wrong, and you have no choice but to quit or battle on in vain. Lubu is the biggest badass in all of gaming bar none, and if you disagree, I suggest you take it up with the man personally. And best of luck with that, by the way, because Lubu is a Lube badass. Yeah, that's 5 for 5 for me.
そうそう貴様が俺を使うだとふざけるなわしでは不服か劉備お主が呂布を使ってみるか生かせば乱世は深まるでしょう聞いたか貴様はここで死すべき男よ貴様らごときが俺は最強の両方戦だ
And those are my top 5 picks. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, but on this occasion make sure you comment in the comment section your top 5 picks. And indeed, if any of these individuals want their own video in the future for me to elaborate on why they're a badass, if that would be fun to do. In the meantime, also please go and check out some of the other content providers that I'm plugging in this show. And in the comments section, there's a special show coming out soon of the top 5 YouTubers who I'm sponsoring at the moment, so please be sure to keep your eyes open for that. Thank you very much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next top 5s list.